Good morning. Today's the day that I was gonna tell you about my side effects from the chemo. I've been dreading this, but I told you I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. First off, I want to say that I was on the combination of drugs I was on is what they call Cyber D, which is Cytoxin, Velcade, and dexamethasone, which is a good combination of drugs. It does a lot of people good. Some people just a couple cycles and it's got their light change right where they need them and everything. So I don't want anybody to base their side effects or what they think might be side effects from this particular set of drugs, because I've seen people that they don't have any side effects from it. But you got to remember that I was already in a weakened state. I was almost in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk very far at a time. So giving me this combination of drugs, I think, is the reason that I had such negative side effects. And I don't want anybody to say it's not a good combination of drugs, because it is. Even though it didn't work for me, it worked for a little while and then it kind of plateaued and quit. But it's really a good combination of drugs. But what happened, I started in January, January the 9th, and I took it for, let's see, 6 cycles. I started my 6th cycle in June, and that's when my light chains, they kind of plateaued around 50, and we needed them below 2.6. And we rocked on about 3 weeks, and it just 50, 52, 51, it was something like that. And then the 4th week, which was the last week in June, they jumped to 70. So right then, my doctor was kind of like, we need to switch you to something else. Your progression of your disease is to the point we just need to put you on something else. So that's when I went to DARA, which is an immunotherapy drug, which is a super drug. That's a drug that brought me back to life. But I want to go back and I want to tell you about some of the side effects that I had from the Cyber D. And one of the main ones was weakness. I was down weak where I was doing good to walk 6 or 8 feet at a time. I always made sure that around the house that I only had to go 6 or 8 feet and I could sit down again, because I wasn't going much further than that without falling. But weakness was a bad problem, and I had vomiting with it. And to me, the vomiting's not that bad. What was the worst on me was the dry heaves after the vomiting, and then you'd start the dry heaves. That just, oh, it was awful. Probably about the worst thing I've ever endured as far as sickness. But that wasn't all the time. It didn't happen every week. Some weeks it happened, some weeks it didn't. It started happening more closer to May and June, when I was on the Cyber D, is when I really started the vomiting. But it would be so bad at night till this is bad to say, but it would wake me up and I would just be spewing vomit. There wasn't time to try to get a can. There wasn't time to try to do nothing. It was just vomit was everywhere. So I learned how to deal with that, and the way I done that, I always knew when I was going to vomit. You can take the nausea medicine, it'll take care of the nausea and stuff like that, but it never touched the vomiting. When I was going to vomit, it was just going to happen. There wasn't nothing I could do to stop it. So what I'd do is, if I went to bed and I knew that the vomit was going to come, I would just take and I'd lay thick towels all over the head of my bed, not the head of my bed, but where you put your pillow and stuff, so that when it came up, it had somewhere to go besides all in the bed. But that's one bad thing was the vomiting and the dry heaves. You know, if I could have done without the dry heaves, it'd have been good. But then I tried to play smart, and I'd say, well, I know I'm gonna vomit today, so I'm just not gonna eat anything. Well, that didn't work either, because when it got time to vomit, I just dry heaved then. So it was, I couldn't beat it off of that pass. It didn't matter. When it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen. So you just, if you have the vomiting, you just have to deal with it, and just do the best you can with it. And one time, this is something funny that happened. I was driving down the road, and I was trying to get home. I knew I was going to vomit, but I didn't know when it was going to come up, but I knew it was going to happen. So I'm going down the road, and all of a sudden, up it comes. I got my mouth is full of vomit, and I know this is gross, but this is just part of it. So I looked in front of me, there was no traffic coming. I looked behind me, there wasn't any traffic coming, so I stomped on the brakes real quick, and I flew the door open, and when I did, you know what happens when you hit the brakes hard in a car? The seatbelt locks up. Well, needless to say, when I went forward with the vomit, it didn't make it out of the car. But that was one funny thing that happened to me. Now I know if I'm gonna vomit to hit the brakes a little easier. But that happened, and that was just something that was kind of funny to me. And another thing, if you have nosebleeds, which I had some nosebleeds along, my suggestion is if you're on chemo and there's a chance of a nosebleed, don't have your good linens on the bed, because you know you wake up and there's blood everywhere, and it's already ruined pillowcases or whatever that you've got. You know, my suggestion is to get the plastic pillowcase that you can put over the pillow, and then put your pillowcase over it. But that was just something that I never knew when that was going to happen. It just happened that every now and then. So that's something you kind of have to, you know, you kind of have to watch out for it. And another thing, if I went in the grocery store or something, and I was so weak that I was using the buggy mainly as like a walker, and I'd go so far, and then I'd get to feeling real weak, like I was gonna go down, and I'd just stop. I would I would look down like I was looking at something on the shelf, and I wasn't looking at anything on the shelf. I was trying to get myself together to keep from fainting or falling right there in the store, and then I'd get going again, and there I'd go again. But that was a thing about shopping, you know. So many times I would be just about ready to collapse, and I knew if I didn't stop walking and try to let my body try to recuperate, that I was going down. So I'd just stop and look down at the groceries and stuff. But that's something that you have to get used to, and I didn't like being pushed in a wheelchair, you know. But I got to the point to where I'd have to be wheeled in to get the chemo, and sometimes I'd have to be wheeled out from the chemo. You know, it's just something that you just have to kind of get used to. Swallow your pride and let people help you. Sometimes it's hard, you know, because I always wanted to do everything myself, but sometimes I just couldn't do it. And you'll be surprised at the people that will come out of the woodwork to help you when you get down. You know, I had friends that came. It just amazed me, you know. And then the ones that you think would come, they don't ever show up, don't call or anything. You're like, well, what happened here, you know? So don't be shocked when certain people don't help you, you know. It's just the way it is, you know. You just have to keep going on with life. But when I got to the point that the doctor told me that was when he switched me to the immunotherapy drug, that was in the end of June, the 1st of July. He told me, he said, you have got to start bringing somebody with you. You can't be just driving yourself in here like this. And so I was like, well, who's going to come and sit with me all day, you know, because it starts in the morning with blood work, then you see the doctor, then you get your treatment. I was like, what am I going to do? Nobody's going to want to spend 12 hours a day with me. So I had a cousin step right up. I didn't ask her or nothing, and love her to death. And Adeline Hodges, she stepped right up there, and she was there for me all the way till I finished my treatment, you know. And that means a lot to you when you don't even have to ask. They just say, I'm coming. You know, it'll all work out, you know, but sometimes you're going to be shocked at who will step up and really try to help you. And don't be disappointed in the ones that don't help you, because I don't know what the deal is, why they don't help. But you just have to deal with the side effects. And see, I didn't have a caretaker through all this. I done it all on my own. So there was many a times I just laid there, you know. I vomited. I laid back down beside it until I could get the strength up, you know. By then I was drenched in sweat. I had to take a shower. I had to change the bed linens. I had to do this. I had to do that, you know. You do what you have to do when you're pushed up in a corner. You know, I look back at it and I kind of think sometimes, how did I pull it off? You know, even my doctors told me, she said, you was a trooper. She said, there's many a weeks I didn't expect to see you back in here the next week. And I said, well, you get backed up in the corner, you do what you have to do. But I hope this helps some of the people that have gotten real discouraged, and I see them on social media and they say, I can't do it no further, I can't go no more. Just, you can do it. It just takes a lot of inner strength and a lot of praying. I done a lot of praying, let me tell you, because I tell you what, I'd be so weak, I don't know how I would get it done, but I'd get it done. But just know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm gonna tell you more about the immunotherapy drug that I got on, because I was at my bottom with that Cyber D, and that was in the end of June, the 1st of July, and then they switched me over to the immunotherapy drug, and that's when I'm just gonna save that for another video. But that's what pulled me on through. But just try to stay positive, do what you can do, and you can get through it.